He's one of my favourite segments, with the favourite segment all week, and I'm delighted to bring him in now. Kel Richards joining us now from Sydney. Wordsmith extraordinaire, brilliant journalist, absolutely delightful good bloke, but we all know that. We can see it. It comes through the screen there, Kel. I love the pick-up today that you've got cultural dietitians, because it has a bit of resonance, doesn't it, with Mr Howard, who, of course, was on the front page of The Australian this morning. Take us through it.
Well, in fact, he coined the expression. He coined it a long time ago, before he was elected Prime Minister in 1996. And what he means by cultural dietitian is that small group of self-appointed elite who see themselves as moral guardians who will force-feed the rest of us on the cultural diet they think we should have. Can I just say John Howard is clever with words. He also gave Australian English the expression barbecue stopper. That's one of his. He coined that in 2001. And I think this is a really nice expression, cultural dietitian. It explains what it is they're trying to do. When they say, oh, gender fluidity is normal, we're meant to say, oh, thank you for explaining that to us. That's really good. And accept that they dictate our cultural diet. Well done, John. Great expression.
Yeah, he nails it. I tell you what, that's why he was such a good PM. Let's go to one, and I discussed this in policy terms last night, but it really gets under my skin. This term from the CFMEU, who want to bring in basically a tax on companies that are doing well, this idea of an excess profit. Now, the whole purpose of a company is to make money. When it makes money, it employs people. When it makes money, we tax them. But this idea that now there's some level of OK profit, and then there's this extra level of what's excess profit, and then that's going to get you a 40% tax weighting. Where does excess profit come from?
It's been around for a long time. It comes from the left of politics, so the Marxists have been talking about it since 1915, so it's been around a long time. And the official definition of excess profit is the level of profit above what it requires to maintain a business. But you think about that definition, and there are three questions. Do an ordinary language analysis of that. Firstly, why should maintenance be the goal rather than growth? Growth is better. Secondly, who's going to set the figure? And thirdly, what about the bad years? What about those years in which a company has very poor profits because commodity prices dropped or whatever? Do they get tax dollars to recompense them for that? The whole idea is nonsense. It really doesn't make sense, but it is officially part of the English language.
All right, let's go to one from our viewer, Ian, who said he's heard a commentator, would not have been me, on Sky News speak about corporations and sporting teams that are backing The Voice. He heard them referred to as corporate democracy. Now, what do you say about this term, corporate democracy?
I think it's nonsense. The idea that corporations can have a vote and express opinions, and that's corporate democracy, is simply not true. Democracy comes from demos, meaning the people. For it to be corporate democracy, they would have to actually poll all of their shareholders, and probably all their staff as well. When they're speaking for their staff and their shareholders, that's corporate democracy. When they're speaking for the high flyers up on the board, I'm sorry, that's corporate autocracy, or as one commentator actually very boldly put it, corporate communism, because it's them trying to impose their views on the rest of us.
Now, look, have we got time to fit in gift horse in the mouth, or we leave that for next week?
For next week.
All right, looking a gift horse in the mouth, Craig from WA, that's yours. It'll be number one on the list next week. Thank you, Kel, as always.